Hello, hello, everybody. It has been a long time since I have been live. I think a good month and a half, maybe? Month? Put a one in the chat if you can hear me okay. Glad to see everyone. So, as most of you know, I am due any day to give birth to a new Eve 2.0, as we call him. But his name is Jamie. And healthy as could be, huge, a little scary. Um, Eve tends to brood beefy, you know, beefy babies. So I'm feeling it. I'm feeling every bit of it. And I'm so ready. And you know that I will update you guys. But that's why I've been away. It's just been a kind of a rough last 2 months. Um, but I'm good. I'm good. I'm just ready. And it was so hot in Texas. Heat index of 115. I mean, I had no chance. But that's okay. That's all right. We have a lot to discuss today. I want to look in the chat and see who all is here. A lot less than usual because, first of all, I'm not in the algorithm as much due to me being gone and not uploading anything, but also lost a few peeps along the way, which is a-okay with me. So let's see if my chat's going to work today. Yay! Hi, Julia T. Of course, the infamous Brooke, my homie. Sweet Tea, so glad you made it. We've been having a blast in A Balance's chat. I have been camped out there for the last, oh, at least 2 months, which I've always been a fan, but I've been more interactive lately because I've been, laid up brewing this baby. And I've had a blast. I think everybody, um, no matter what, should at least check it out, even if they have differences of opinion on the drama going on. Uh, Lurkers in the back, go ahead and hit that like button for me and, the creators that you watch, because it's not always easy being on the opposite side. Mr. Eve says, hey, everyone. Yeah, poor baby mama. Feel bad for me. No, don't, please. I am just fine. It's just, I do waddle right now because it's at the very end. So like my due date is in 4 days on the 25th. And I didn't think I'd even make it this far, but yeah, I probably won't make it then either. But I'm at the waddle stage. Yeah. My 2 weeks of nesting and having a bunch of energy is gone. It's finito out of here. Hi, Hermit Frog. It's been a while. Glad to see you. All right. Did I miss anybody? I did, because I'm horrid. I missed somebody I saw. Shani, good to see you, honey. All right. So what have I been up to? Let's just get that out of the way real quick, and then we'll jump into Summer Wells, Rose Bly, the Herrera's latest drama. There's so much going on that I cannot even begin to organize it in my brain. But the first thing I want to say is, what have I been up to? I've been doing a lot of research on Summer Wells, and there's not a lot of updates on Michael Vaughn. You know that I care deeply about that case and Michael getting justice for Michael. I did notice one thing that I thought was kind of interesting, which is that me and others have reached out to try to get an update on his case and to get the probable cause affidavit opened up for the Sarah Wandra's failure to report a death, because they did send a probable cause affidavit off to the prosecutor, the law enforcement, Fruitland PD, but said that they were still actively investigating Michael Vaughn's case. And nothing has really come of it. We reached out to the prosecutor. He does not return our calls. And the judge actually, on September 13th, put out a denial for unsealing that information, which I thought was bizarre because uh, her charges have been dropped. Yes, they could recharge her later, so maybe that's why. But at the same time, it's like, at what point can you seal it forever? Honestly, no. That's not transparency. That's against FOIA. And so I'm going to work on it harder. But for now, nothing I can do to update you guys on that. And no other charges have been filed on anybody. Sarah Wander is still in jail. She has a federal court hearing. I don't know. I gotta look and see if that's happened yet. I've been behind on it, but other than that, that's all we have. Now, I know everybody has probably heard about the Critters Doing Harm on the Farm live with Brandy Neal, the mother of Michael Vaughn, and Daisy and Dawn. And I do have an opinion on that. Now, am I going to be straight up hateful or anything? No. But I do have an opinion that is very different, as you could imagine, than from what most of the creators out there who are speaking on it have. And I'm pretty sure the ones that have been here from the get-go know where I'm coming from. If you don't, just hear me out. Don't think that I'm trying to bash anybody or do anything sideways. It's just an observation. But we'll get to that. So, that's what I've been doing. I've been camping out in AB's chat and other creators' chats. I've been reviewing Fred Hill and the lives with Marlena Crawford. There's a lot of things going on in the Summer Wells case that I'm noticing that I'm connecting dots on now. And I can't disregard the amount of information that Ziggy and others like, and we'll get to this creator, Tara. I think what is her handle? Almost Dreams? Something like that. Anyway, she is doing an active search with a group of people on Fred Hill's property, from what she is saying. And some people, even somebody in chat, might know a little bit more and could correct me if needed. But, she's doing something. And then, she's actually trying to help. And she is a medium. And so there's a lot of backlash with that. And I am one. So I can't sit here and bash or say who is credible or who is not, except for Ziggy. I'm sorry, Ziggy, you're not. Love you, girl, but no. But I get you. She admits she's not a psychic medium or anything like that. So that's fine. But I do give her credit for talking to Fred Hill. I mean, it took some balls. Another Realms. Thank you, Brooklyn. Brett. Let me put that up. So Another Realm is the creator who is having a rough go with the back and forth between creators. And these are creators who have massive followings, who have been covering the Summer Wells case and being involved in the drama and all that stuff, right? It's wild. Yeah, it is with his sisters. So his sisters, Fred is in jail, as we all know, or hopefully everybody knows. And Ziggy has been speaking to Fred and spoke to Laura and did a few interviews with her. And so here's what I did. I was like, okay, there's so many different moving puzzle pieces, as usual, in the Summer Wells case with all of these different people having something to say. But you have to listen to Fred Hill and his testimony on his side and what's going on with him, because he lives on the same road, first of all. Second of all, you've got Jodeci Brown posting and talking about Fred Hill over time and posting these screenshots of conversations about it. There's a lot. And so that's what I did on my hiatus, just basically chilling out and taking notes. And I have 2 notebooks full And here's the thing, I actually did connect some things that are very important. And then you have this search that was assisted by Fred Hill's sisters, who basically, when Laura and Fred were in jail, took over. Okay. So Laura went back to, I think, Virginia, where she's from, or where her family's from, because of the drama with the sisters. And it's insane. The sisters are harsh. Specifically one, I believe her name is Karen. I have watched her in chat speak about Laura during the interview on Ziggy's Live, and I do have to give her props. So I will put the links of the interviews in the description box. So please check out the full interview if you're interested. But there is something to the hatred between the two. The vivitrol. Sweet tea if you're here. The vivitrol. The vitriol of them. So it's an inside joke. So Rose Bly first, though. There is something that I found a long time ago that I brought up. And sorry, let me readjust my table. Okay. There was something that I brought up a while back that I was never able to hand over to you guys to show you. Yeah. Vivitrol. Well, Vivitrol is actually a word, though, right? I think it's like a medication, a shot. So she wasn't wrong that it is a word, but she used it in the wrong context. She meant vitriol. Yeah. Okay. Hey, Carla. Good to see you. Rose Bly. There was something that I found a long time ago, and I could not find it on my computer at the time when I did the live for Rose Bly. And it's huge. It was the main potatoes of the live that I did. But I found it as I was not doing content, that's for sure. So I'm going to pull that up and show you what I'm talking about. Do you remember the live that I did with Rose and the Herreras, with Warren Herrera specifically, which is Candace, Grandis's brother, who is a violent RSO who had been released in September of 2021, ironically, to a basically like a halfway house kind of situation, which I confirmed with the sheriff in Wisconsin. But the biggest thing is that he was found guilty of these charges, but due to insanity, basically just being disabled mentally. Well, I was like, I found an article back in, I think, 2010 or 11, or maybe even earlier than that, around the time, 2009 actually, that shows more detail of what those 8 charges of, essay of a family member that he was found guilty of, what that was. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that I found something like this. Blew my mind. So I'm going to pull that up. Give me just a quick second. It's taking forever to load. Hold on. Sorry, I was muted. And then I got the yawnies. I call them the yawnies because you know how it be when you're pregnant. Well, not all of you, but some of you might. Okay. This isn't the full picture. Damn, hold on. But what we're looking at for the time being is an article in a local newspaper. It's like one of those digital newspapers that they started doing in like 2007 when Facebook came out. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. The full one. The full potatoes. But this is about a new charge when Warren Hare, excuse me, was on work release after being found guilty in 1984 or 19 something, for the inappropriateness with a family member. You know, the 8 counts. Got to be careful because, you know, policy of YouTube. But yeah, this is what this is kind of explaining. So, you know, when you think of the charge of you know what I'm talking about, you're thinking, okay, it's a young child because that's, you know, Summer Wells. So let's read this. Charged with first-degree SA, Warren Herrera, 50, Grantsburg, appeared before Judge Ken Coates for an initial appearance on Friday, October 3rd. This was in 2009, I believe. The Class B felony carries a maximum sentence of 60 years. So this is separate. And what had happened was Mr. Warren, while he was on his work release and out and about in the public, even though he was checking in at the mental hospital he was staying at, he got to do certain things. And what did he do? Inappropriately essayed a 8-year-old girl. Yeah. After knowing damn well he would be an offender. So allegedly, Hare inappropriately touched an 8-year-old girl on Saturday, September 20th, while the girl was staying overnight at a friend of the family's home in Menon Township, Wisconsin. Oh, it was 2008 that this happened. Excuse me, guys. So she was, the girl was staying overnight at that friend's house. The alleged victim's mother reported the incident to Burnett County Sheriff's Department on Monday, September 22nd, and Hare has been in custody since Thursday. During the brief appearance, this is the important part. What I'm about to say, you got to think about this, okay? Think about what's going on in 2008. Think about the family around Candace Bly. Think about it. During the brief appearance, Coates recused himself of future court proceedings because he was the prosecutor of early SA charges against Hare. He was the Burnett County District Attorney at the time when Hare faced 8 felony charges. This is the important part. The 8 incest charges for inappropriate with a 17-year-old woman in 1994. I said 84 earlier. I'm sorry. 1994. In that case, the SA contact was reported to be, listen up, consensual and had occurred regularly for the previous year and a half. Think about that for a second. As hard as that is to wrap your head around, it was reported to be consensual and had occurred regularly for the previous year and a half. So what that is saying is that it was going on for a year and a half. It was a family member because it was the I word. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. When I say this, because that's what his charges were. Y'all remember this, most of you. So then you got to take it a step further, unfortunately. Yeah, Grandma, you put it. I'm going to quickly put it up here. That's what it was. Those were the 8 charges. And it says it right here, 8 felony charges for inappropriate essay for the 17-year-old woman. You know, because you're thinking this eight charges are like a little child because of the Summer Wells case and the family toxicity and things that are going around with Candace. You know, there's alleged rumors that she was seeing a underage boy. Then you have Hunter. So all of these things, right? All right. Well, how would you really know if you didn't have somebody testifying like this 17-year-old woman who is a family member? Obviously, it's a family member. How would you know it was that way? Or it was what it was without some proof, right? That it happened. Well, let me tell you the court records. Some of them we don't have, or I don't have. But I can tell you that the most logical explanation and reason for them to know for a fact that these at least 8 charges of basically incidences where they had inappropriate relations, if you know what I mean. There might have been a product of this contact with a family member. Does that make sense to anybody? I don't want to say it outright because I don't know for a fact, but it makes sense. Hey, Miss Lenny. Sorry, I've been too busy leaking information about a certain case, right? I'm being a smartass. You probably have no idea what I'm talking about. We're talking about Rose, and you know what I had explained to you about what we found out about Warren Scott Hare. So anyway, let's continue. I know I'm such a big leaker of information, which I was recently told I can't leak any more recordings, or I'm going to go to the slammy, the chokey, the holder. Mean girls, man. So anyway, in that case, Hare pleaded not guilty by reasons of mental defect. There was an expert that came in and said, "Da-dee-dee-dee-doo. You are cray-cray. We're going to put you in the mental hospital, but we're going to let you out and work and do the, basic normal things. But we're also going to let you break out of jail during this time. We're also going to let you work and not report properly. And we're also going to wait a whole ass year to revoke your work release because you had to wait to go to trial and you couldn't find a potential witness. There was a witness that you couldn't find in 2009. Makes you wonder who was missing in 2009, but anywho, both the district attorney and the defense attorney agreed to be bound to the findings that he was mentally defect of the 8 counts of I. Okay. He was, after he was determined appropriate for institutional care, he was committed for 53 years and 4 months. However, he was released on October 30th, 2003, like I just said, from the institutional care to a conditional release under the jurisdiction of the Department of Corrections. So actually, I'm wrong. He didn't report back to the mental hospital for his defects. He actually got released completely and went into conditional release of the Department of Corrections, where the Department of Corrections worked with the mental hospital and the experts there. He still had to report to the state, but he could do whatever the hell he wanted, and he did. The son of a bitch, actually, inappropriately touched an 8-year-old girl at a party. Wow. Okay. So now we understand exactly what's going on. Ooh, my account went up. Somebody must be watching. I must have pissed somebody off. I can tell. Yes, Warren, bad guy. Evil guy. Now, remind you, this is who Grandis went to go see after Summer Wells went missing to take care of business. You know, after she hurt her knee and had to get those pain pills to reevaluate up in Wisconsin. That's who she also went to go see because Warren Herrera got out in 2021, September of 2021. That's where she went. Now, she had already planned all that, but it's all starting to make sense, right? That the defect of the family dynamic is very obvious. We've always known it, but it was worse than we thought, right? It's worse than we thought. So, because of the new charges, that conditional release is under review. And I believe it was even adjusted to the fact that he could still work, but he went back to the mental institution, I believe. All right. So think about this. Here's Warren Scott. Right here. So if they had, let's say, proof of the 8 counts, not because of witness testimony, maybe there was a product of this abuse going on with a family member. I can't tell you for a fact that I know that, but I do know that at that time in 94, there was a 17-year-old cousin in the Hare family. There was. Matter of fact, there's two family members who were around that age, but of different sides. Was there a baby that was conceived out of that? And that's how they knew about the 8 charges that he was found guilty of due to mental defect. Does that make sense, guys? The dynamic of this family, of the Bly family, I'm not talking about the Dawn Wells family. I'm talking about Candace Bly and Grandis Hare. It's not okay. This has been going on for a very, very long time. The secrets, the weirdness, the looking away from things that should not have been going on. A lot of people, you know, I'm not an apologist for Dawn Wells. Believe me when I say that, because the man is a horrific, vile ass who knows more than what he's saying. But we really got to stop and think, why does Dawn take the heat? You know, when I used to say, why does Brandy take the heat in front of Tyler Vaughn in the Michael Vaughn case? Why does the mother? Well, it's the opposite here. Why is Dawn taking all the heat all the time? Putting himself in the position to take the beatings. I think we all know why. Pretty obvious to me. Who's more guilty? And why would you want to be the public face if you're more guilty? You might slip, maybe, potentially, possibly. Right? They do cover for each other's sins, that's for sure. The whole family is nasty. Yeah, well, you know, the Chris Marcos, remember on Cher's Live where somebody brought up Chris Marcos, and baby, that's her cousin. I think his name is Christopher Marcos, the one that married, I can't remember her name now, shit. But anyway, defended him. He is a violent RSO. He's a horrific man. So now let's go into the Summer Wells case. Connie, thank you, Lenny. I knew you'd come through, girl. We're so busy leaking Michael Vaughn stuff to everybody. I forgot the names. So that was very, very alarming to me that Chris was defended hardcore, and she was pissed about it. I will never forget that. I literally wrote that down immediately and said, do not forget how hard she fought for that piece of shit. It just gives me chills. And ironically, you think about Rose Bly's cousin, Julie, the one that Daisy Critters Doing Harm on the Farm, trying to portray as Rose, which was utter, complete bullshit and was wrong. And that was dirty what she did. She falls around that age, guys. And there's another one too. Now, I'm not trying to pinpoint who the victim is of Warren, Grandis' brother, but I'm just saying there's something weird going on there. And maybe, just maybe, because this all was going down during the time of Rose Bly disappearing, when Warren was out and was charged with touching that 8-year-old girl, they couldn't find a witness in 2009. And I just can't let it go. I can't let it go because I can't. The records and the court records won't tell you which witness that is. They just won't. So we're going to get into the Summer Wells case now. But I want you to watch a video that I made if you haven't seen it yet. It's about a potential location. And I want you to pay attention in chat, because somebody might know a little bit more than I do. I know for a fact she does, if she wants to, about this location that Rose Bly may just be potentially in. The possibilities are endless, actually, if you think about it, but it's only 3 minutes away from where her car was parked. And I want to get your opinion on this.
True Crime with Eve.
"15 feet, water gon' rise. 15 feet, my heart gon' blow. Low down low, baby, take my soul. In this dirt, Lord, I'll be so. Beautiful road, beautiful road, beautiful road.
And it's horrible. It's hard to deal with. Very hard to deal with. Without knowing where my daughter is.
On August 21st, 2009, Rose Marie Bly left her residence in St. Croix Falls, Wisconsin, believed to be en route to Cushing. The 21-year-old mother of two never made it. Days later, Bly's 2001 Pontiac Grand Am was found in the village of Grantsburg, nearly 17 miles north of her house, with no explanation as to how it got there. No one has seen or heard from her since.
Wash me down, wash me low. Beulah Rose, Beulah Rose, Beulah Rose. water come down. Feel the rose, baby, don't you drown. 15 feet, the water gon' grow. 15 feet, my heart sink low. Sky opened up this morning, called me out by name. River gonna drown out the glow, leave me with the blame. Singing hallelujah, preacher, about the lifted state. Water climbing up my back door. Where's this God again? Come down, down real low. Baby, don't drown, come tell me so.
That was Jeannie's husband, Jeremy.
Water gonna rise 15 high. My heart sank, sinking low. My soul is yours and never gonna.
Shout out to the Delta Saints for that song. That song was chosen, handpicked by Rose Bly, so I think it's very fitting. Yeah. So who do you think, if you were to look at a Facebook group of just a slew of messages about people that are suspicious around, the Rose Bly disappearance, how do you feel? Put it in the chat or in the comments below. Who are you looking at immediately? The closest around her, right? Well, it's very ironic that I'm seeing those family members pop up over and over and over and over in chats. And I don't think that any one particular one I am focused on at all. But I do listen and I do watch and I do see that they're there. I do see that they are around. And I'm connecting dots here. And I think the children of Rose Bly, more than anybody, deserve answers, right? And I think that it's scary for some that I'm getting close. I tend to get close, and then once I get close, I get a little back chat, threats of doxing, right? But Summer and Rose will get their justice, I promise you that. And it's really not that hard to deduct what happened to both of them. And I don't think that either one of them was some random abduction. I don't. And I will stick by that. I will at least stick by that, right? Because if you could let a family member, like a brother, Grandis, do that to another family member, what makes us think that they wouldn't harm or allow harm to anybody else in their family, let alone a stranger? This is how they work. This is how they operate. This is a different level of thinking. All right. And I blame a lot of it on pure laziness and entitlement and drugs, right? We can at least say that that is a common theme, right? So we're going to dive into, like I said before, we're going to dive into Rose Bly a lot because I've done so much research. And I think that somebody out there knows exactly what happened, exactly what they're covering. And I think that once they realize that I found them slipping, it's going to be a wrap. So, moving on. Summer Wells, the latest YouTube drama. This one's kind of odd because it does deal with mediumship, and I haven't really done that on my channel because I feel like it's kind of almost disrespectful to some to victims and victims' families who don't believe the same way that I do. So I've decided to keep it private on members only, which I haven't even done. I haven't even done that. Basically, I just allow my Discord peeps to listen and watch whenever I have it available. So, but that will change soon to where members only will, get readings and stuff that I do. And I don't do it like Ziggy style, or anything like that. I have my own way of doing things, and it's very intense, and it's hard on your body and your mind. So, I think that's only fair. There's some things that just don't need to be put out there either if I find out about it. But let's watch I'm going to have it on like 1.5 speed, but let's listen to Tara's video about the search. At Fred Hill's property. Another Realm is her YouTube handle. I hope she doesn't mind that I use this. But do not leave, y'all. Because I'm about to show you something that might help both Ziggy and Tara. And maybe, just maybe, Angel talks too fast too, because she's involved in this now, where they're fighting. Another Realm, Tara and Angel, bickering about this stuff. But let's all come together and calm our titties, right? Put a bra on, something, or a blanket, and let's work together because it's about summer, right? So let's catch up with Another Realm and see what's going on. And by the way, I'm not talking smack about any creator whatsoever right now, but I do want to say that Angel did instigate a little bit, and I mean she doesn't really care for mediums. We've actually had an email back and forth before, and that's okay. That's her right to have those opinions. So I don't shame her for that. But there was some cattiness. It was very obvious. And that's all right.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. Oh, no, it's afternoon now. Good afternoon, everyone. So this is going to be a little bit of a different kind of live stream. Well, actually, no, it's going to be like what I do normally. I've got work to do. I'm always doing stuff. So before we get into it, my moderators, I have told them to let it rip today. Don't block anyone. Don't time out anyone. Nothing. I want all of them to just sit back and watch and speak. If you want to be an asshole to me and you got some shitty stuff to say it, please. Type it out. I want to hear it. Okay? Let it rip. Let's rumble. But I'm not going to argue with you, and I'm not going to engage with you. I want to hear what you have to say. I have one question that I want to start off with. Why? Okay, and I'm going to address this to Ziggy. Okay, Ziggy, you've reached out to me the last week or so trying to kind of get to know me and stuff. I think it was only because you're trying to fish for information for your channel, so you have something to talk about. I have a very, very serious question for you. Why are you supporting and enabling a criminal?
Okay. What is this about, you wonder? Fred Hill, I'm assuming in Tara's mind, is suspicious as hell because they're searching his property, first of all, that the sisters are allowing at 207 Ben Hill Road. Okay. And I found something very recently that might make these two ladies reconsider their stance on Fred Hill. Both of them. It just depends. I'm not sure. I can't think for Ziggy nor for Tara. But what if I told you that Fred Hill's property was actually looked at before, not just with law enforcement, but other entities that would obviously show, in my opinion, signs of, oh my God, there might be dead bodies all up in here, which is what is being alleged. Okay, it is. It's being alleged. And that's where Tara, I think, is coming from, is that Fred is potentially, he has victims on his property, I guess. I'm not really 100% on that, but that's the gist. Just Me said Fred's sisters reached out to her and allowed the search. They have suspicions about Fred. Right. Thank you for kind of summing that up for me, because that's absolutely right. I actually have suspicions about the sister, specifically Karen. I don't know her, and I've only seen her in the chats with Ziggy, with Laura White, Fred's baby mama. And she was not nice. Matter of fact, she even thinks that Laura may have had something to do with her own mother, Fred's mother, dying on the property. Alleged. It's weird. This dynamic is thrown off just as much as the other families on Ben Hill Road, okay? Specifically 125 Ben Hill and 110. So keep an open mind and don't take what any creator specifically says about guilt or not guilt, okay? Just act like you're a juror trying to figure out what the hell is going on here, all right?
That's my question to you. You're doing the exactly same thing that Daisy Cow's doing. You are supporting and enabling a criminal. They're in prison. So that is a very serious question. And you need to sit back and think real hard about your morals and why are you doing that?
Can y'all hear it?
Is there a reason? Are you working for the feds? Are you the one that's got the wire on? Yeah. So also, I'm just going to come flat out and say it. Since Ziggy exposed everything yesterday, yes, they're searching Fred Hill's property. Yeah. And it is his own family that are doing it. I'm not going to get into any of their family drama bullshit because it's none of our business.
Okay. And see, you're going to hear me disagree and agree with both creators, all creators, okay? Because I'm just here for the facts. You have to think about it like this. If you really thought that your family was suspicious, you would go to law enforcement. You have access already. You could get EquiSearch in there, no problem. And I'm not saying that they would, but I'm just saying that there's other ways to go about this. And I think the reason why the sisters chose a medium is because they trust her readings, and I haven't watched them all. I don't really want to. I don't typically do that. Either way, there's a reason why I think, other than just believing in her readings, that they picked her. And I feel it's because it's more easy to if something goes wrong, or they figure out that, you know, they were wrong about their suspicions of Fred and Laura and the property, that they're like, oops, sorry. Okay, you know, there's not an accountability factor with law enforcement, because law enforcement would be like, Don't waste my time with this bullshit. Does that make sense? But I also feel like, who are the sisters, or specifically one sister? Why are they so hard up on their own brother? And it isn't our business about the family drama, but I do know one thing. I do know in the chats, this one of the sisters, I think her name is Karen, said, I think something happened to my mom. She was fine one day and wasn't. And Laura was there and she was supposed to be taking care of things and she was on the property. So there was a lot of drama about being suspicious about how the mother passed away on the property. So we don't know that. We don't know. We weren't there. Laura says she's out of her mind. She had a stroke, okay, or whatever it was. We don't know, and we're not going to speculate on what happened. I highly doubt Laura could or would do that, but whatever. I don't know her. But what if there was such animosity against their own family that they had people around them who would move things on the property while when they kicked everybody off, or when Fred was in jail and Laura was in jail, took over and wouldn't let them kind of back on the property? Wouldn't it make sense to you that it could be possible that evidence was planted by people, that they didn't know? Maybe even hell, other people on Ben Hill Road. So I started going, okay, what did Laura and Fred say to Ziggy over and over when they weren't there, when they were there, who was there on the property that day? These interviews with Ziggy are important, actually, because it's Fred Hill and Laura's accounts of the property that everybody is wondering if Summer may be on. That is crucial. You can't just ignore that just because you might not like Ziggy, right? Or you might be biased of other creators that you follow. I'm not a huge fan. I'll admit that right now, but I'm also not going to ignore something that could potentially help a missing child. You know me. Most of you do. I'll go to the ends of the earth for a missing child, right? I don't care who you are. So what did Fred and Laura say? Well, apparently there was Chad Hayes, who is Marlena Crawford's baby daddy, was on the property looking for Fred. Candace Wells was there that day, per Fred. Dawn, later that evening, was there, or 3 days later. I have to confirm about the same day, but I know 3 days later, Fred said, a few days later, he was drunk or high on the property. The dogs had hit on Summer's scent on his driveway. He had cameras that he is sure law enforcement probably has, but he wasn't absolutely sure. I mean, there's a lot. And when you start kind of digging through what makes sense and what doesn't make sense, you're like, oh, God, okay. Law enforcement has an idea. I promise you that. They just can't prove it, obviously, because they don't have Summer's body. They don't. So is it possible that maybe, just maybe, Fred and Laura are being set up after all? We have to consider it. We can't just assume that because the search is going on and that TBI is notified that it's official and that what is found is what's being said. All right? Just keep an open mind. That's all I'm saying.
But if his family feels they need to search for Summer Wells on their properties, there's a freaking problem. And why are you supporting him? Honestly, I don't understand it. Why are you doing that? So yeah, cat's out of the bag. Thanks, Ziggy. Thanks a lot, honey. You did great there. All for clicks and views and money, I'm sure. Why are you enabling this man? Why are you coddling this man? Why are you doing what the other creators are doing with Dawn and Candace? I thought this was about finding Summer. I thought this was about finding the little girl. That's all that matters is this little girl. Why are you supporting criminals? I just can't get past that. Why? I, I, I just honestly I can't get past it. I don't think I ever will understand it. It's like
And here's where I'm going to disagree. Like, everybody has the right to feel the way that they feel about somebody, especially since, oh my gosh, my lights fell. Sorry. Whoops. Mr. Eve, you're going to have to fix that. My lights fell. Anyway, Ziggy can feel whatever way she feels. The chicken bone thing, whew, Lord have mercy. You know, it's looking kind of sus, Fred, when you say there's bones and, you know, TBI comes and gets them or whatever, law enforcement, and it really put a bad taste in everybody's mouth. It put one in mine for sure. So it doesn't look good now in retrospect that this Tara is saying bones were found and they're human and TBI knows, and it doesn't look good. But that doesn't mean that Ziggy feels Fred is complicit and she's covering. You know, that would be pretty sick. And I know Ziggy's pretty sick sometimes. She's done some shit. She's pulled some shit that I find despicable. And a lot of people do. But at the same time, I can't be convinced that she's covering for a criminal either. I just don't think that's. I think it's a stretch, but let's continue.
one of those situations. You know how Chris Watts would have women come in to see him in the prison and they wanted to marry him and all this bullshit? It's almost like the same type thing. Is it about money? Did he pay you something? Like, is it all about money? I don't understand. Okay, and then I'm also going to address the other channels that are just talking absolute nonsense bullshit that I did not say. There is so many rumors flying around that I did not say. Like, none of it came out of my mouth. It's literally like the game we played in kindergarten, where we all sat in a circle and you whisper to your neighbor next to you, and we'll see how the story gets towards the end. Absolute total bullshit. Like, honestly, I'm fascinated to watch what's going on here. It's like, on a psychology level, it's fascinating me. I don't understand it. All I give and okay, warning, I'm gonna be swearing today. I'm heated and I'm gonna be swearing. And my Scorpio's coming out and I'm pretty straightforward, point blank. Honestly, it almost seems like people don't want her found. I've been watching rumors like that for the last 2 years from other creators and stuff, and well, holy shit, maybe they're right. Are you trying to stop her from being found for some reason? All of you? Okay, so I'm addressing all of you assholes now, not just Ziggy. I thought you all wanted Summer to be found. Well, it's sure looking like you don't. Why would you go running to the criminal that we are looking at that property? Why would you do that? And even if it was Laura that came first and goes, oh, wow, I think that's Fred's property, you should have had some common sense and gone, oh, well, I don't know, maybe we don't know. It is kind of stupid. Now you've.
So, right here, it seems like I'm going after Tara, and I'm not, y'all. But you have to think about unlawful search and seizure. Because, you know, from my understanding, he's on the deed there, or at least was. And going into jail, I don't know the law on that, but there might be, let's just say, they found something. If it's an unlawful search and seizure, you got to be careful because that evidence could be thrown out in court, right? So you have to be careful. And I do believe you need to have the rights to know that your property is being searched. So it's really not about why she ran to Fred to tell Fred or Laura. It's because that's their property, that's where they were living and putting their stuff on. And because of disputes between the family, they kicked Laura out, even though she has a right to be there, per Fred. You see what I'm saying? So it's because of the legality and the issues that could arise from this.
Possibly put people's lives in danger. And whatever goes on between, and I'm going to keep reiterating this, whatever drama is going on between Fred and his sisters, that's none of our business. That's up to them to deal with. I don't give a shit. I want to find Summer Wells, and that's all I care about. Period. Now, All of you assholes that are spreading the garbage rumors, I'm starting to wonder all about you guys too. And Angel talks too fast? I see you, sweetheart. I see you. You were the first one to start. I wasn't even off my live 2 hours, and you were starting. What a piece of shit. Like, do you not want this girl found? I will say that a million times today. Do you not want Summer found? Think long and hard about yourselves. Or is it all about the dollar? Is it all about getting clicks and views, and you just really don't give a shit and don't want her found for that reason?
I mean, both could probably exist, if I'm honest. But I don't know her. I don't know Ziggy's intentions. So she's upset, that Angel talks too fast, was talking shit. A little bit. I mean, mediums get a lot of shit. All right. We get it all the time. Even the people that I thought I was closest with shamed me, character assassinated me just to hurt me recently. A weasel of all people. Because they couldn't prove that I was not the mole in our little group. I mean, we just get that that's just the way it is. And it's a pseudoscience, right? I mean, it's just like astrology. If you can't take that, though, like you really do have to you got to let that go and focus on Summer. So let's jump forward here. Yeah, screw them for sure. For sure.
Actually. So I'm going to show everybody what I've done. A date on the calendar, actually work something out, and then just put it out there. I'm not going to be there. If local residents want to help, absolutely, it will be doing a customer service or a community service for their area. I figured it would be a good peace offering on behalf of the YouTube community for the people that aren't involved in this case, for all of the disservices they've had, the innocent neighbors.
Okay. So let's do one more video of what the hell kind of search are you talking about, Eve? What is she talking about? Okay. Here we go. Here's the video. It's very tiny. I can't help it. But this is pictures of the search on Fred Hill's property, and I believe also Light Cemetery. So obviously, there has been some meth use on the property and some trash and hoarding going on. Yeah, Brooke, I understand. Yeah. And honestly, that's really a lot of the video here. Just showing the trash and the, it's a meth head area. Now, I will say one thing. Law enforcement is not going to want to sift through all of that. It's going to take a long time. So I am very thankful that whoever it is that is searching. And for the sisters to work with her to do it, no matter what the reasoning may be, because that law enforcement should be able to dictate what that is. I'm very thankful that at least it's being searched, for God's sakes. And there is some private land that she said was being searched that she's not going to reveal. But I'm just glad to hear that it's happening. So the bickering can go for the moment. So apparently there's more searching that she has a video on. I haven't seen this one yet, so hold on. Now, when I saw the burn barrel, I'm going to be honest with you, or these barrels, because in my own personal readings, I've seen them. Evidence destruction and things. But we won't go into that. I was like, oh no. But I will say this is very common in Tennessee to have these barrels because they use them for specific purposes. And so do bad people. But hey, Guidance. All right. So there's more on her channel. I don't want to stream all of her stuff and get stricken. I hope she doesn't. But she also has readings on the search team, right? Actually, I do want to play this one really quickly. I know it's over an hour now. Got about 20 minutes left, but let's watch this real quick.
Actually, it's not short because it goes and loops around. Hair or is it fibers from something? No, that's hair too. That's hair.
Okay, so the big thing here is that there is knowledge, not directly from official sources, but through the grapevine as usual, that there are human bones and human hair. We don't know that for a fact. I will say that you have to think about the fact that people cut their hair and it leaks out from the trash. Doesn't necessarily mean it was somebody that was murdered. It could have been one of the kids on the property at the time, the mother. Who we don't know for a fact that just because there was hair found that it's from a deceased person. But it is being kind of put that way, and very suspicious. And it could be. We just don't know yet. So we can't jump to conclusions. We just know that that's what's being said. Just putting it out there. Now, for the bones, you have to take it with a grain of salt too, like with Ziggy, right? And the chicken bones. We've all learned our lesson, right? So not to slam Tara in any way or not to believe her, but we can't just jump to conclusions here. Lenny says, I use blue barrels for land waste and garbage. A lot of people do. A lot of people use it for degrading, like very hard chemical products or cement products, things like that. But people also put people in barrels to disintegrate evidence. So, yeah, I'm just saying. Here's a burn pile.
Actually,
Again, on Fred Hill's
goes
property.
loops around.
I think she does readings while this is going down. Anyway, there you go. So then getting onto Ziggy's side, with Ziggy, you know, she did kind of pop off and be like, well, that's suspicious. That's suspicious. And she has every right. Ziggy has every right to be like, well, I don't really take that very seriously because of this and what Fred has said. She's got interviews. So you got to compare and contrast what both have. I don't feel comfortable streaming Ziggy too much because I don't know how she feels about it. I don't watch her that much, honestly, except for lately with the interviews. But I do know that her first interview with Fred Hill was on the 12th of January, 2022. And this was before something really big happened on that property already that I found that I think might just help both creators, like I said before. Are y'all ready for this? 'Cause it's crazy. I didn't know that I was going to find this. But it shook me when I did. Because it how do I put this into words without messing things up? It would show how inept law enforcement is, especially Hawkins County. Okay. If they missed it. And I really don't want to expose this lady, but it is. Shit, should I? I don't want to. Summer Wells, damn it. She matters. I'm making an executive decision. Don't come at me. So, I found a website that has complaint information on solid waste. Complaints or violations in Tennessee. And I'll show you where I got it. And this is going to be what I'm basing this off of. All right. So there's a Tennessee Department of Environment and Conservation. Fred Hill's properties are garbage. Garbage. All right. And there are complaints here. I don't think I want to expose her name. One of the neighbors reported an issue with tires and drug waste, trash on the property, all right? And this is what kind of kickstarted in 2022. In 2022, the complaint was made, February 28th, about 207 Ben Hill Road. Well, they can jump on me all they want to. Brick, I got fighting hands, even pregnant. But here is pictures of 207 Ben Hill Road in 2022, February of 2022, where it kind of kickstarted a complaint and violations where the city or the county came out to investigate. So rainwater had flooded the Ben Hill Road area, and tires were all out in the road. It was a mess. Ironically, I believe the YouTubers were here fucking around on Ben Hill. I think Bullhorn Betty maybe around this time. I'm not really sure 100%, but or soon after they were. So thought it was kind of ironic, the timing. But here's pictures of it. Again, February 28, 2022. And before that too, because there are pictures taken and sent at this time from a previous date. Now, I freaked out when I saw this yellow truck because it immediately made me think of Summer Wells in that video, but I don't think it's the same one. I don't think so. The for sale. Let's look it up. I don't think so, because I think it was what's his face's Dudley.
Don did an interview with Voices Behind the
Yeah,
Wall
it's not even a
2
truck.
days ago.
Never mind.
See,
Woohoo! But look at the property. It's not good. Got all these cars, which aligns up with what Fred said on Ziggy's live, that he was hauling cars and stuff or whatever, a truck off the property when Summer went missing that day, and saw Andy Bernard parked up on somewhere. And he says he distinctly remembers seeing Andy Bernard because he had to let him through, because I've been on Ben Hill Road before. And it is a very small road. You have to pull off into the grass to let other people by. All right. There's that. Guessing that's Fred's truck. And this is what he does. He goes and salvages it, and that's how he makes money sometimes. It is a very methy thing to do. They've admitted to their meth use, so just wanted to show y'all that this kick started off a year ago, year and some change, that people have already been on the property too to investigate violations. It's not like they were hiding anything. They didn't put a fence up. All right. Isn't that gorgeous, by the way? This is the creek. Isn't that gorgeous? Yeah. So this must have been pictures that were sent or taken by the Environment and Conservation Department of Tennessee. There's a tire. I think it looks like a motorcycle. That's a motorcycle tire. Not really sure what that is. Looks like a diaper bin. So the issue again was that the trash was going into the creek when it would flood or rain and wash it down to other properties, and people were sick of it. And I don't blame them one bit. Do not come at the neighbors. If you think that you figured it out on who it is, you should not do that. They have nothing to do with anything. They were just trying to enjoy their new property of retirement in Rogersville, Tennessee. And they were tired of the trash. And wouldn't you? Hey, Birdie's Crime Chat. I wonder whose white car on the far right. I know. Yeah, who knows? Good Lord. And apparently there was a meth head living on the property at the time. Summer went missing, so that's another thing that Tara's talking about. But we don't know. We don't know. I don't know who that is. But see, this is just kind of proving how trashy it was on that property. How much garbage was being swept away and up onto other properties. So see, I'm pretty sure that might be Fred. Or maybe not Fred, but family. But that's what he would do. He would haul away stuff off of his property when needed. And add to it, too. That's just what they did. So maybe that was like the sisters or something. I don't know. So 3/15/2022 was when the date was the date of the investigation. The investigation results say here. Hey, Jennifer. I sound weird. It's probably because I'm swollen and pregnant. Tends to happen. Observed a large amount of debris that include appliances, vehicles and parts, tires, furniture, scrap metal, building materials, burn piles, and various other debris. So they were on the property, y'all. It seems to me like this investigator was on the property already. All right? Full of baby, yeah. Yeah, like my face swells. It's weird. It's just like, and then I feel like my cheeks are swollen. So I speak differently. It's weird. And allergies, yeah. That too, all the time. I'm really allergic to ragweed, and it's like super high pollen day for me. So Fred Hill was not present. I spoke to several neighbors who stated that Mr. Hill disposes of trash in the creek. The trash is washed away downstream, and the neighbors are left to pick up the mess. We'll refer the burn piles to APC. DWR takes the lead on the waste disposal. Which is just entities, just local governments, right? All right. So, why is that important, you ask? Well, because they were on the property. Here's the official report. Come with facts, right? You know me. I might do mediumship, but baby, logic is going to be the first thing I go to. So, complaint investigation, notice of violation. Here's the roundup version of what I just told you guys. What laws were broken? Well, or codes rather. Burn solid wastes in an acceptable manner. You can't construct or alter or operate a solid waste facility, which is what is listed, his property is listed under. Transport, process, or dispose of solid waste in violation of this chapter. And it has like all of the chapters. Who cares? Who cares? So they have to clean it up. And gave them 30 days to clean this shit up. And of course, it didn't happen. Because Fred, I believe, was arrested around that time, or maybe even Laura. I mean, here's the pictures now, guys. Here is the nitty gritty of how bad it is on this property, okay? Oh, Birdie, really? She says, fun fact, blood vessels can vasolidate during pregnancy and lead to more nasal and sinus congestion. Oh my God, well, that's me on a daily basis. You can call me Rhinoceros. Rhinoceros. God, that is so pretty if it was just not so full of garbage. God, Ben Hill is gorgeous. Has the potential to be really a gorgeous area. But you know, it's methed up. It's too methed up. So it looks like here it says April 14th. Nothing was really done here on this property. Looks like it got worse, if I'm honest with you. Oh, it says March 15th. I'm blind, sorry. Here's a burn pile. You probably saw it earlier. Somebody was digging in it. Whoever that searcher was. But to me, it's like, if you're going to hide bodies or if you're burning things you're not supposed to in an illegal sense, meaning covering up a crime, don't leave it there. Don't leave it there for people to freaking see. It just doesn't make sense to me. So I have to side on at least Ziggy for being like, that doesn't mean he's guilty. Like that's true. It doesn't mean he's guilty. Can anybody hear me? Put a 1 in the chat. If you can hear me, put a 1 in the chat. I don't know what the hell that was, but I got disconnected. Okay, cool. Whew. That was weird. I tell ya, when you get close to the truth, things start to get wonky. All right, good deal, good deal. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know what the hell happened. Fred's sister's Karen has quite the record herself. Yeah, that is so true. Matter of fact, Ziggy said something about that on her live last night. So what I wanted to get at is that now that we have proof that the property was looked at by somebody else's eyes outside of YouTubers or mediums, law enforcement, there was other entities that were on that property. It's very concerning to me to jump straight to Fred Hill's guilty. I don't think it's fair to say that. I think that it's totally possible to set up Fred Hill. Okay, it is. But it's also completely possible that Fred Hill may have something to do with it. Here's where I have an issue. Again, appreciate Tara at least getting the sisters to search the property. I think it's great. Good for you. Like I'm really honestly happy to know that it's being searched. Fred's property on 207 and maybe others. I don't know. But Fred says on the January 12th, 2022 interview, before this inspection complaint violation happened that I just showed you, he knows for a fact that he saw Andy and Dawn that day. And he knows that Candace and Chad Hayes, Marlena Crawford's man, was on his driveway at, I believe, 165 or 167. And that he's pretty sure he had cameras. There's so many things that Fred says that could corroborate or deny his allegations and what he's saying on these interviews that he'd be a damn fool to lie about it. And he could be lying. But he saw Andy Bernard parked. That's a big claim. We all know this. I'm sure we all have heard this. And yes, Jody Sue Brown has come back with a vengeance on those on her lives. But it's really interesting to me that she released those screenshots of the conversations about Fred Hill, right? Like, and saying kind of good things about him, like he's the only decent guy on Ben Hill Road, basically. So what's going on here? What's going on here? Not to mention, in that interview, Fred talks about Stardust Drive and Lone Star, where the Lights and the Crawfords set up shop. And not to mention Polly Ann, who lives over on Lone Star, which I know for a fact is a place of interest at one point. I do believe that Fred was right when he said that they searched that area. Benny Keys, I believe, said there was a search warrant for the grandmother over on Lone Star. I'm almost positive. I believe that. I do believe that was searched. That is alarming. Why? Why? I want Jody C. Brown to kind of confirm that for once or deny it. And if she already has, then just whatever. Send it to me. But things are not looking good. Not looking good. So, then we have Fred Hill and Laura White's later interview. Can't remember the date at the top of my head. But here's where Cotton Simpson comes into play. And the Morlocks, okay? Close to the Crawfords, close to the Lights, family intertwined, which, to be honest with you, Beach Creek's family, everybody's intertwined with everybody. If you're a Morlock, you're a Light. If you're a Light, you're a Crawford. If you're a Crawford, you're a Bernard. If you're a Bernard, you're a Goad. If you're a Goad, it just goes on and on and on. That's just how it fucking works out there. I get it, whatever. However, the Simpsons and the Morlocks interest me a lot, especially with the Lights. Light Cemetery, which is being searched per Tara. I do feel like there is something to the Cotton Simpson story, but I don't think it's being portrayed in the exact way it should, because he's dead. So it's very easy to manipulate words around to make it seem like it's something it isn't. And he can't really defend himself, and there's not really a lot of family coming out, even though apparently Cotton Simpson is family to Fred, which I believe it's because of the Fields. Done my research, guys. What alarms me the most is having per Fred saying that there are cameras on the property that probably would capture who was in and out of Ben Hill, at least around Fred's property that day. And he is saying that the scent dogs hit on the driveway where Candace pulled up to talk to Chad Hayes, Marlena Crawford's baby daddy, that day by the camper. No, excuse me, at 207 Ben Hill, y'all. Now, what is being searched right now and who has property, or who is allowing these searches right now? At 207 Ben Hill. I'm actually trying to help Tara on this one. Tara, excuse me. Because I don't want her to be taken for a fool either. I think that she does good stuff, and I don't think that she has any ill will. But I don't want her to be taken advantage of. And I don't want Ziggy to be like, ha ha, I got you. You know, this is about Summer, not drama. And when you look at the Crawfords and the Hayes, you'll connect back to the Morlocks. Not the best people in the world, but who had access to the properties. I'm not going to say which one it is, but they had connections, and they have connections to Dawn and Candace. And that's where I'm going. All right. Y'all are playing games with other people's lives behind the scenes. But what do they all have in common? Say it with me. Drugs. Drugs. It's always about drugs. Always. Then you have Fred wearing a wire for Dawn. For the police. We know for a fact that there was at least a polygraph. Allegedly inconclusive. Now the sister allegedly is saying that he failed, but we don't know for a fact. Fred's saying he didn't. There's a lot of theories about that, but it really doesn't matter because law enforcement's going to lie to you anyway. What I feel is that the creators who are fighting each other right now, Ziggy and Tara and Angel, are probably the closest people to maybe finding out exactly what's going on. And instead of fighting each other and capitalizing it on in your own way, whether it be your ego, your bank, your morals, listen to each other's content, take out all the noise, and just think about what you know to be true, what you know to not be true, and talk about that, not your intentions or all the other bullshit, because this is where you lose it. This is where you lose a potential clue to help find Summer Wells. And that was the whole point of my live today, was to stop fighting. If you want to do drama late at night, that's fine. Work together. We all know creators do it. We all know y'all bitches do it. Y'all get in the back chats of your Discord and say, you want to fight today so we can make some money? Do it. Fine. But get back to work and actually help each other. Because I do think that both of you have something golden here. I really, really do. Don't get clouded. Both of you All three of you. Angel talks too fast is a smart cookie. Does she get lost in this drama sauce like we all do? Of course. We're not perfect, but don't let your egos ruin this, because I'm telling you, from a medium, y'all have something golden here. But I can't retain every single thing. So I'm going to leave with this. When I went to Tennessee back in 2022 for the 1 year, I could not let go the fact that up in those mountains above Morrison Cemetery Road, where you can cut over to Lone Star Road and all that stuff, Barrett Hollow, there is a goat property. And if Fred or your spidey senses or anything that you can muster, Ziggy and Tara and Angel, if you could think about this, please. Could there be a potential area up in those mountains above Simpson Loop Road, above Ben Hill, across the street, up in those mountains in the holler? Could there be a potential area that you could look at to get out of Dodge? Think about trying to get a child out of Dodge. There is almost at least an hour and 45 minutes of time unaccounted for, where Summer could have been up in them hills. Think about that. Think about the last time you saw that TikTok video of her on the milk jugs. All the way up until they got home. And I'm going to go ahead and say that's about 4-ish, 4:30, maybe even 5. There's a long time. I would say actually 5. I'm going to go ahead and say 5. Because what I know, and I can't speak on this, you either trust me or you don't. I know for a fact there was a call around after 5 off of that property from someone. I can't release that, and I won't. I'm bound legally, but what happened in between that 3:30 to 5 o'clock window? Where did they go? Where could they have gone? If you don't want to be seen on the main roads of a camera, how could you get to the other side of Beach Creek? It's up in the mountains, guys. And maybe we could all connect the dots here. Just listen to each other. That's it. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap up. Thank you so much for being here. Please hit that like button and subscribe before you leave if you haven't already. And tomorrow, I'm going to schedule a live here in just a second. We're going to go over new cases and specifically Karen Read, which I'm addicted to right now. Like, this Karen Read case is absolutely bananas. I've invested my time into it, so it's too late. I am deep into it. I believe that this woman was framed for the alleged murder of her boyfriend by police. So this one's really interesting. So I hope that you stop by. Again, thank you for being here. Much love to you. Be safe. And I'll see you on the next live. Bye, guys.
feeling something. Lately I've been putting it off to see if you'd come back crawling. The floor is falling now. So don't you hold me if you don't wanna know me. Don't you play dumb when I see where you run from. So don't you leave me empty when it's all